Hey, how's it going? Oh shoot. Um, I have some cards, couple of cards to read. What happened? I had I had it on the photo setting and everything was great. Okay, I'm gonna assume if I can see those, you must be able to the signs. Well, I mean, if I get the come on, one last adjustment, I hope. Come on now. Good now. Can't talk. Great timing. Okay, so let me take a drink first. Hi. So, today when I got up, I thought, wow, fear sure is on my mind today. Not mine, and not like the horror movie kind, and not even the haunted house kind. The kind where it's used as a weapon, like as a lever to manipulate people. And even if that were not the case, and I think something like that comes from a number of directions on people, where you have some force or people or organization or whatever that is trying to get you to think and lean and move their way, their direction. And so, I mean, apply it where where you feel it is necessary, but it is a fact of life. And so, part of the challenge of living is to navigate through all of these like currents that are trying to snatch you when you are having, like, you have your own course set. So but we're subject to, manipulation, weather, acts of God. Stuff happens, and it's not always something that you can see coming. And so some of us are more susceptible to like taking on something that it may be an like you can't, and unquestionably something to be feared, but also something that you can be like, okay, I'm scared right now, but it's going to change at some point. I'm going to do something different and things are going to feel differently. I'm going to go someplace else, or some other energy is going to happen, and it's going to cause things to change. And if you know that, then it's a little easier to just hang out and deal with it, and just kind of I think of it as like, I'm from earthquake country, so I think of it as like when I lived on the third floor of an apartment with well, never mind that. I lived on the third floor of this place, and it was not the first earthquake that I had experienced, but they don't go on for that long. They can be incredibly destructive, and it's like we must have, the people, there's so many of us that are afraid of being crushed by a building or something falling on us. It's like past life fears bubbling up from way down when the earthquake comes around. And I wasn't going to mention this, but I will mention it. I had some roommates at the time that were from out of state, and they tried to run, I don't know to where, because like whatever they were fearing, you're already up on the third floor. If a disaster happens, anywhere you go, you're going to be in it, so you might as well just sit still. And also, I know that they're only like, a couple of seconds, and they don't go on for minutes and minutes and minutes. Well, if they did, they'd be that dangerous, but they don't, so far that I know of. And that's what I mean when you just you kind of have to just gut your way through it, or maybe that is not what I said before, because gutting your way through it is a different thing. That is, you're full of fear and you're clenched. That is not shaking off fear. That's when you become like a magnet to fear filings. So and it's not like there's other kinds of fear too, like if you get a disease or something, and a lot of us, our instinct is just to go, oh my God, I'm gonna die, it is in my family, I know this and this and this horrible thing about it, and we can psych ourselves right into that sort of state of being, like dying if we're already sick. So the fear can just be like nascent inside of us, latent, but something can come along, like the disease, like I said, and your doctor probably will not want to scare you. So you're not going to hear, at least it's not been my experience, that they're going to tell you something absolutely horrible. Well, actually, they have done that too. But anyway, they don't want to scare you because they know that doesn't help anything. There's fear again. Like, they know it messes you up, and it always comes back to people here where I live, and I'm just trying to better understand like what they're going through, and I mean, I already feel like I understand a lot, but I'm still just sort of working stuff over, and I don't know if it's helping or not. I hope it's helping, but I'm just sharing it with you anyway. So, fear not good. Fear makes you like, it doesn't help your brain. It doesn't, it clouds your perceptions. I mean, how many like military movies have you seen where, those guys like push everything out of their mind, and there's techniques that they learn, and then they're like telling them to each other, like, keep your eyes on me, and think about this, and blah blah blah. Like, there's ways of just like compartmentalizing it, or just shoving it aside and just getting done what you got to get done. Most of us don't live that extreme an experience, but we can get that scared though. So I think that right now we have a lot of people that are, I think they're afraid of change. I've talked about this a lot, probably talk about it again, but I feel like what people are feeling is feeling like the next step you're going to take is going to be like a carpet, but there's absolutely nothing under it, and it would be like an elevator drop, but you can't even imagine what would happen in those circumstances. So, what am I going to die? Is it going to be really messy and splattery, or am I going to feel it, or am I going to, disassociate, or am I going to, like, who knows? You don't know. And the unknown, like, I guess it's our ego that supplies all the not helpful help of going, well, this could happen, that could happen. So what if? So, excuse me. I feel like there are things that they're artificial handholds, but they've kind of always been there. And over time, if you get my drift, because I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail about it, but sort of belief systems just sort of become traditional and ingrained. And it's just an easy out, kind of a sort of cop out thing. Like, whatever happened to you, I look at it this way: if you're gonna blame somebody else, when the thing happened that you're blaming the other person for, were they there? Were they in the room? Did they actually have input? Do you personally, like, cite me some information that proves your point? Because blamery is fuckery. You know, like, I'm just, I'm getting it. Okay, but you see what's happening with people in various ways. They are lashing out, you know, saying inappropriate things in places where just anybody can hear them. When they're screaming about the inappropriate thing ruining children, and it's like, they're here, you're saying the foulness. I feel like it's misfires happening, and I don't know. I don't know if I've been that scared that I've just been like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do whatever. I'm gonna do anything crazy. Like, what? I feel like that's what I'm looking at, and other spasms of mental health. I don't even know if it's mental health. Like, it's not mental to be scared. And even if you are either gutting it out or breathing through it, no matter what you know intellectually, atmospheric things can happen. And I don't even just mean ghost stuff. Like before an earthquake. The earthquake that I just referenced, I happened to just wake up right before it. It was like the time around, it was before the time that my alarm was going to go off for work. And I feel like I felt it. And then also I woke up just in time to see both of my cats. Well, one of them was mine. One of them belonged to a roommate. But they both came over by me and sat down and went ploop. Like, just both floofed out. And I was like, oh shit, I know what this is. And the building, my goodness, it actually must have been really scary for those roommates, because that building, I believe, was erected in 1920, and it's been through several earthquakes at that point, or from that point. So it wasn't earthquake safe. I don't think it was retrofitted at all. And it just kind of went, but it also was going crunch, 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 grind. So it's a scary effect. And I got scared, but my body got scared. You know, like my fight or flight kicked in. So there are other situations where you could have that sort of knowledge of what's going on, and then just be like, okay, it's gonna scare me, my heart rate is gonna go up, I can see what could maybe happen, but something, I don't know, I'm just hypothetical here, but I guess it depends on the individual and in the situation. But if there's something scary, your body is going to react regardless of what you're telling yourself. So the point the point I want to make after saying all that is kind of what I think is going on with people. So I think the cards I pulled are so great, because it's I also was thinking, man, I don't want to just be like a bummer. So there's an upside. And so from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, I pulled card number 50, Spirit of the River, Movement Toward Adventure. Oh, I don't know if you could see it. And it seems to have it's a wave, it looks like. and it looks like there is a flying fish coming out of the wave. Have you ever seen one of those? It's the weirdest thing. Their wings are like transparent, and yes, they're fish, and they actually have wings, and they do fly. I always talk about this. I went on more than one, and I went on a lot of trips to Catalina Island, so I got to see a lot of water things happening in the water. But I think the first time we went to Catalina, I had read about them and I was really excited. Like I'd read something about Catalina because I always have to read about where I'm going, or when I land in a new city, I had to go to the library and learn all about it. But anyway, I knew we were going to Catalina, so I found a book at the library and it was talking about flying fish because I guess in that area of California at the time, I don't know if they even, I haven't heard the word flying fish in many years. Sorry, don't mean to get maudlin. But anyway, so I've seen them, is what I was trying to say, on boat trips, and they look like a little gray snub-nosed submarine kind of, and then or like a mini whale. They're so just like wow. And then they like come shooting out of the water unexpectedly and like fly across the bow or fly up, by you, and then end up diving back in the water. But they come out of the water like just like a cylinder, and then floop, the wings come out and they catch some air currents, like maybe from the boat, and then they just, soar for a minute and then just back in the water. Barely a splash. It's really cool and surprising, and you're just like, no way did that just happen. Especially the first time I saw it, and I knew about it, like I was looking for it. It was so surprising. And I love that I mentioned Catalina. Catalina, if you've ever been there, and I don't know if this is still true, but I grew up in LA, so I was used to going to Santa Monica and Venice and further up and down the coast over the years. And the water, like especially up in LA where I was, you could only see through it like when it was up to like your shin usually, or well, actually when I was young, you could go out probably to your waist and look down and see your feet, but that changed over the years. But if you went south, the water got bluer and clearer. So I'm not sure what affected what. Like the changing of the water density over the years in like Santa Monica, I would attribute that to pollution, because there was like, you go to the beach and there'd be like all this like medical waste, like syringes and just use medical waste, like medical trash, and it was all marked U.S. freaking Navy. So that happened like quite often for a while, and no sidetracking. It was awful. But anyway, you could go to Catalina though, and the water, there's like a little marina. It's sort of a little cove situation. It's like the local thing. Like the boat you take from San Pedro to Catalina, it docks there, but not in the part where the sailboats and things are. And I believe there's houseboats and things there too. But when I would go with my mom, we would just go for the day and eat at a restaurant or whatever, and then hang out at the beach. But the sand was really white compared to Santa Monica, and the water was super blue and clear. Like it would get shallower from when you'd come close to the island, and as you got closer and the water got shallower, you could see through it, and it was blue like this color, and you could see it like right from the boat. It was crazy. You could see it change from dark to blue. And then if you'd get in the water, which I did, you could go swim just forever and ever, but you could see right through it. I remember swimming up to a kelp forest there, and I didn't go like far into it because it seemed like it was getting deeper than I was comfortable with. I didn't want something hungry to come up from down below. But I would go a little ways in, and there'd be these little red fish, and you could see them all over, and they'd come up and check you out, and it was just really a beautiful thing, you know. And it was like you went to this completely other tropical place. And I loved it, but the water was this color. And then there you go, the story of my life. Sorry. Okay. Wild and free, the feeling that I was getting, and sort of what the card seems to be saying. But here, let me read what the guidebook had to say. Spirit of the river, movement toward adventure, addiction to problems, allowing and trusting the current. Not this again. The spirit of the river invites you to step into the flow, to stop swimming against or avoiding the current, allowing the waters to carry you downstream. It's time to heed the call of a new adventure waiting for you. Stop working on the problem for a while. The issue is not what it seems. It is your addiction to fixing what has gone bad that is consuming so much of your time. Work to create a greater good, and the bad will resolve itself on its own. There is nothing that you can accomplish with more efforting, as the situations in your life are now subject to forces beyond your control. Recognize this, step back, and trust the flow. There is no loss of face or lack of honor or integrity. It is simply the way things are at the moment. When this card appears, it is time to say yes to the next leg of your journey. Your life is like a river, inevitably and inexorably flowing to the sea, which is your divine destination. Be fearless and release yourself to the rushing water in the middle of the stream. Whatever it is you're holding on to, the feelings, the thoughts, the beliefs about how things are or how they should be or could be, can be fixed easily with the power of the spirit of the river. Simply let go and enjoy the thrill of the ride. All will be well. Oh. See, it gets better. It doesn't have to be all, everything is horrible and downbeat. Because really, we either put ourselves in these places that I was talking about earlier, or we allow others to put us there, which is us helping them. So it's almost the same thing as putting ourselves there. But I like what it said about like just kind of going with the flow. It was like what I was saying about you don't really have power over things that are going to scare you. Like an earthquake that like if it's happening, well, you can't really, what are you going to do? Stop! There's no switch to turn it off. So you just have to live through it, And so it's just kind of a more hopeful message. Like, you can just forget about all that stuff that's upsetting you. You don't have to stay in this mood. You can just think about something else for a while. It's really easy. You would be so surprised. So anyway, that was an example of what someone might say to someone. So I pulled from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck the Buffalo card. And the buffalo, see how stormy it is in the background? Look how placid and calm that buffalo is. I bet the water, if it's raining, I bet the water's not even reaching its skin. And I think that kind of speaks to what I was just saying. It's kind of like electric chaos is happening in the background, maybe right next to you, but it's not going to do that forever. In fact, lightning, like earthquakes, is over really fast. You just hope that nothing falls on you or that you don't get struck, or don't stand next to something that got struck that can fall on you. But the key is, in those situations, I think that say you're on the third floor and the building is trying to crumble, and you, for some reason, think it's a good idea to try to run downstairs and escape. You, you know, if you decide to do something like that in those moments of, you know, danger, you know, I'm hypothesizing hypothesizing a more dangerous earthquake situation, like one from like a movie where it shakes for like 3 minutes continually, and the grinding and the crunching becomes, you know, the screech of metal tearing because the building's falling over. In that case, you might decide, okay, I should probably try to move, or you might not. You just might not be able to sit there and accept that, like, you know, something's going to kill me here. You might not be able to not run, and that's completely understandable. Uh, I think the idea of this right now, though, here is to remember to stay calm when chaos is going off all around you, because, you know, you really can't do anything about it. And actually, if you decide to act, you might make the thing you fear worse for yourself. That is a thing that I can apply to reality. If you don't calm the hell down with the fears, you're going to make everybody scared and make everything worse. Like the person I was talking about at the public meeting, saying that they're so fearful of the horrible things that are coming out of their mouth, getting into the ears and minds of children, when there are children there within, you know, they can hear you, they can see you. They're like overtaken. It's really strange. I don't know if I believe that they're really afraid of what they're out there shouting about. I think that they're intrigued by it and they can't stop thinking about it. And I guess as an alternative to acting on it themselves, they got to go out and expose everybody else to it. And then telling people that it's to save the children is some kind of disguise. It's not working. I mean, that's just, I don't know. It's just a feeling. But I feel like there's more going on there than what they're actually saying. I'll just read from the Buffalo card what it has to say about it in the guidebook. I know I just did it recently, but I don't know who's looking. Maybe they didn't see this already. So it says, Buffalo, grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. The hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise toward heaven. The buffalo sees challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. Therefore, the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look to the road ahead, trusting every turn. May we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time to time, and we may allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. When in balance, trusting, pure presence. When out of balance, restless, lacks gratitude. I would hate that thing to be ungrateful at me and use those horns to bring into balance prayer, bhakti, and I don't remember what that is again. If I remember, I'll put it in the information box. Sorry, I got a crick. You know, part of the fear and lashing out thing is, well, not being in touch with spirit, really, like not being grounded. And I don't want to sound like one of these people that are out there screaming and yelling at public meetings or in front of microphones and cameras about everything's messed up because people need to get God, people need to get Jesus. Like, well, you know, that's not maybe the right prescription for everyone. You people forget that there's Jews and Muslims and atheists and Buddhists and Hindus and, you know, more. There's so many religions. Look it up. It's crazy for someone to say the world, like, and these are American politicians I'm talking about, like, you just need some church and some Jesus. Like, well, maybe not. Maybe for some, but maybe not. And I don't think that's the right prescription either. Not for everyone. I mean, if he's what that's doing for him, I don't know if I want to take that prescription. What I think is that the prescription should be get outside by yourself, get your bare feet on the ground, sit your butt on the ground, lean against a tree or lean against a dirt wall, whatever is out there that you find. But the prescription, I think, is turn off your brain to the world that we live in for as long as you can. And don't think about any of the stuff that you normally think about. Don't think about worries. Don't think about, well, everything I'm going to say is worry or fear, or lack or, inadequacy, jealousy. Like, just go blank and go to the age that you are the youngest, that you can think of the most pure thought that you have. I mean, if I'm gonna be like that kind of incisive about it, that's what I would say. Like, just find your purest, most unpolluted, untainted, happy memory and just go there and close the door behind you for a while. And just get back to yourself. I think that all of the distractions and the manipulation in the media and in advertisement and politics and so much. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to their First Amendment free speech, but my God, can I choose what I want to bombard myself with? We don't get to. And well, that makes me irritable, but, when I get irritable, I just want to pick up something of mine and throw it against the wall for the pleasure of seeing it shatter. I don't want to, go take it out on other people, because I'm going to... Oh, shoot, I need to wrap it up, right now. Because it's good to remember that all of the stuff that is happening to all of us right now, we all of us are responsible for the whole setup. So and it's not a blame thing, it's just reminding you that you also have a part in the way things are. So that you don't like it, the thing you can change is yourself. Thank you and good night.